Welcome to the Design of Concrete Structure course. So this is lecture number 8. So up to now we have started a design of singly reinforced beam. So in the lecture number 7 we have derived the equation, that is we have seen the stress block and strain block of concrete and steel, and as well as we computed the total compressive force and total tension force generated in a beam section. So in this lecture number 8, it will be continuation to the lecture number 7, and here we will determine the neutral axis depth and the computation of moment of resistance. So in the last lecture, if you recall, we have discussed about the what is the neutral axis depth. So this is the same figure we will refer every time, because this figure will explain the entire concept of beam design. So here you can see this is a singly reinforced section, and you can see the reinforcement is provided at the bottom. So when you see this type of figure, you can understand that this is a singly reinforced section. Okay, and the section is middle of the span, because their maximum, the tension force generated at the bottom fiber. That's why steel reinforcement provided at the bottom. And this is the strain diagram we discussed in details in last 2-3 lectures. The maximum strain here is 0.0035 as per Indian Standard Code. Similarly, the maximum strain in the steel is with this expression. So concrete maximum strain is fixed for all grade of concretes, whether you use M20, M30, M40, whatever may be the grade of concrete. The maximum strain is same for all grade of concretes, whereas the maximum strain for the steel bar is actually changing based on the Fy value. So if you see the formula, it is 0.87 Fy by Es plus 0.002. So Es is the modulus of elasticity of steel, which is fixed to 10 to the power 5, whereas Fy is the yield strength of a steel. So in market, Fe 250 or Fe 415, Fe 500, Fe 550. So different grades of steels are available. So depending on different grades, the maximum strain also will be changing. Okay, because Fy value is changing here. But for concrete strain, it is independent of grade. This is the as per IS code it is given. And this one is the stress diagram. So you can see that every class I'm explaining this figure, because it is very much important for you to understand this figure in details. Each and every aspect of this figure has to be understood thoroughly. So this is the stress diagram, you understand, right? This is the this top part, this is neutral axis. When you have above neutral axis, the stress is compressive stress, whereas below the neutral axis, the stress is tensile stress, because the bending will happen and the bottom fiber will experience the tension, whereas the top fiber will experience the compression force. So complete concrete can take compression force. That's why we are not keeping any reinforcements at the top. So this is single reinforcement design, obviously. So now we discussed in last class also the total compressive force is acting here at C, okay, and total tension force is acting in this portion. So now in last lecture also we have discussed this section will be in equilibrium. Okay, section is equilibrium means when the section will tell equilibrium, so it has to satisfy these three conditions. Obviously, we are considering it as a two-dimensional space. That's why we have three equilibrium equations. But if we have a six-dimensional space, or sorry, three-dimensional space, then we have six equilibrium equations. Anyway, so here we have the three equilibrium equations for this section. That is summation of all horizontal forces equal to 0, summation of all vertical forces equal to 0, and summation of all moment equal to 0. So that's what we discussed in the last class also. So here two horizontal forces acting. One is compressive force, another is tension force. So there must be tension force and compression force must be equal and opposite. Then only this condition will be satisfied, right? Summation of horizontal force equal to 0. Now, as we have considered, the section is the middle of the span. That's why there is no vertical space we considered. Because of that equilibrium, vertical shear force is actually 0. And moment also should be equal to 0. Sufficient moment at any point should be equal to 0. These are three equilibrium equations. Based on that, T equal to C, right? Total tension force here should be equal to total compression force C. So how much is the total compression force? I don't know it is visible or not, but T equal to 0.87, FYAST. So what is force? So already you know, right? Force equal to, or in other words, stress equal to sigma is stress equal to force by area, right? Then what is force? So force is equal to stress multiplied by area. So there, so that's what. So total tension force here. How much total tension force will be generated? So to tension force T equal to 0.87 Fy. Why 0.87? Because actually stress is here Fy, right? The yield strength of a steel bar is Fy, but we are dividing Fy by 1.15. So Fy divided by 1.15. So what is 1.15? 1.15 is a partial safety factor. Okay, as per IS code, 1.15 is a partial safety factor for steel, right? So Fy by 1.15, if you do it, then you will get it 0.87 Fy, something like that. Okay, if you convert into 0. Decimal scale, you will find it 0.87 Fy. So actually, the stress here is 0.87 Fy. Fy is the stress, and how much is the area? So force is what? Stress into area, right? Stress you understood now, 0.87 Fy. But what is the area? So area is total area of the steel bar. So here maybe here 3, 4, whatever is the number of bars. So total area of the steel is AST. Area of steel in tension is AST. So 0.87 Fy is the stress multiplied by AST will give you total tension T. So this is T. Now what is C? C in the last lecture we have derived. In the last lecture number 7 we have derived the value of C. What we got it? C. So C we got it. C equal to, if you just recall, last lecture we have discussed 0.36 XU. Okay, 0.36 XU BFCK. BFCK. So this is the formula we have derived in the last. So now here if you see, so C T, you know this value, and C is this much. So now what is our first equilibrium equation? That is summation of all horizontal forces equal to 0, means T equal to C, right? So what is T? T is 0.87 FST AY. So 0.87 FST FY AST equal to C. C is 0.36 B XU FCK. So this part we have derived in the last class. So from here you can compute what is XU. XU is nothing but the depth of the neutral axis, right? This is the XU, depth of the neutral axis. So XU will be comes out to be 0.87 Fy. If you just take this value down, you will get it. 0.87 Fy AST by 0.36 BFC. Simply modification. If you do this equation, you will get it XU like that. Now XU by D. Now we are finding out this ratio XU by D. So we divided both sides by D. So this side also we divided by D. This side also we divided by D, small d. So XU by D equal to 0.87 Fy AST by 0.36 B D, because we divided D by both sides FCK. Okay. So this is XU by D. This is the expression. Now you may ask why we are finding out XU by D. I mean XU is fine here, right? Then why we divided it? Because this is D is what? D is the effective depth. So total depth is capital D minus clear cover. I mentioned in the last lecture what is clear cover, right? So total D minus clear cover, you will get it effective depth D, small d. So always we try to make it express it in terms of ratio to the overall effective depth. Sorry, effective depth by, I mean the depth of neutral axis by the effective depth equal to, this is the expression. Okay. So now we discussed in the last class also lever arm. So what is lever arm? Lever arm is the distance between C and T. So C is here and T is here, right? That also we computed this lever arm value in the last class, if you recall. It was D minus 0.42 D, right? This is the expression we have derived. D minus 0.42 D. So here we just D is taken common, and this is the expression. And XU value, XU by D value is this one. We replaced it here, and this is the final expression for the lever arm. So lever arm is what? Distance between tension force and the compression force. This distance, C to D, this distance we call it lever arm. Okay, and this is the expression for that. So now, if you see that XU value, XU is what? Depth of the neutral axis, right? So now the next question is depth of the neutral axis, whether it is fixed. Like always it will be at the center, or it will be at the top, or it will be at the bottom, where it will be in general. So XU by D or XU by D, so this expression, if you see, it depends on what? Fy means the grade of steel, area of steel, B is the width of the beam, that is actually fixed, D is the small, D is also fixed, FCK is the grade, that material properties. So the depth of the neutral axis XU actually depends on Fy means which grade of steel you are using, FCK means which grade of concrete you are using, and AST means how much reinforcements you are providing. So these three parameters, that XU value, depth of the neutral axis value, varies. Okay. So now the question is, should there be a limited or maximum value of XU? So XU value, how small it should be or how big it will be, XU value. So if you see, if area of AST value, if that AST value increases, what will happen? Area of tension steel increases, means XU by D value also increases, means XU value also increases. So XU value may come up to, tension steel level. So this neutral axis may come up to this point also, right? Because AST value, if you increase very high, then what will happen? XU by D value also will increase, right? So XU by D means XU also will increase. So maximum it can go up to, up to the steel level also. So this axis may come up to this also. Okay. Now, whether it is feasible or not, whether it is practical, or whether it is allowed in our limit state of design, that now we will check it. So should there be a limiting or maximum value of XU? Yes, there is a limiting value. So XU value or depth of the neutral axis value should not be more than some certain parameter. So what will happen? So now if you see, this is a figure. Okay. So this figure here, this is the strain diagram. So this strain diagram is there. Na? So same diagram, I just enlarged it. Okay. And different cases are there. So just first consider on case 1. Okay, case 1 you consider this middle line. Middle line is the case 1. So maximum strain in the steel in the concrete is how much? So maximum strain in the concrete is 0.0035. So this middle value, if you see middle line 0.0035. So this middle line is that maximum strain in the steel concrete. And what about maximum strain in the steel? That is 0.87 Fy by Es plus 0.002 up to this. Okay, so here you have maximum strain in the steel, and here you have maximum strain in the concrete. Now if you draw a line by connecting both, okay, that is our case 1. So case 1 is actually when the top fiber is also maximum strain, whereas bottom fiber is also maximum strain. Okay, both the fibers reaching to its failure, because both the fiber has maximum strength, maximum stress, maximum strain. So that depth of neutral axis, we call it that XU max. I'll tell you why it is XU max. So this is case 1. Now you understood it. In the case 1, the concrete also fails, the steel also fails, because both reach to maximum strain capacity. That is the case 1. So simultaneously concrete also will fail, steel also will fail. Now case 2, if you see, this is the case 2, this dotted line. Okay, so this dotted line is a case 2. So in case 2, if you see, the concrete strain is how much? 0.0035. Whereas steel strain is how much? It is more than 0.6. Steel maximum strain is up to here. But this dotted line, if you consider, so now neutral axis is actually less than the XU, case 1. Okay, so case 1 was neutral axis is this one. Now we reduced. Now neutral axis went up here. So this dotted line in neutral axis is now up. So XU now up to this much. Okay, so in this case, what will happen? The strain has reached to maximum. Okay, the strain has reached to concrete strain has reached to maximum. What about steel strain? So steel strain actually it's beyond the maximum capacity here. That is the case 2. Then what will happen? Now concrete, so if you recall, we discussed the 6 assumptions of limit state of method. So in that 6 assumptions, what was our main assumption? Our second and sixth assumption, if you see, the second assumption is that in no case our structure actually should not collapse suddenly. So as a architectural engineer or civil engineer, there should not, our structure should never collapse suddenly. Our structure may collapse gradually, means it will give sufficient time for those who are using the structure to safely evacuate from the structure, and then structure should collapse. Okay, so in no case our structure should collapse immediately or suddenly. It will give sufficient time to evacuate the structure. Okay, so that's why. So now you understood, right? The beams are made up of steel and concrete. So please look into here. The concept is very important here, what I am telling now. So the beams are actually made up of steel as well as concrete. Okay, so two materials. So concrete also may fail, steel also may fail. So anything may fail. So what will happen if concrete fails first? So you imagine that where you are sitting, there is a beam at the top, okay, and beam is made up of steel as well as concrete, both are there. So now if concrete fails because of excessive load or some other reason, then what will happen? The concrete will fall down, right, immediately in front, I mean in your head, or those who are staying there in the building, immediately it will fall down and your structure will collapse immediately. So there is no sign that you can understand the structure is failing. So concrete failure is brittle failure, sudden failure. Suddenly it will fail, and everyone will die on the structure. So this is not at all acceptable in the civil limit state of design philosophy. Our structure should not collapse immediately or suddenly. It should give sufficient time. So now, as I mentioned, so our design should be such that in no case concrete should fail first. If concrete fails first, then what will happen? The entire structure will collapse immediately. There is no sign of failures. Immediately it will fail quickly. So that's why so the concrete should not fail at any cost. So if now, what if the steel fails? The steel bar, if it is failed, then what will happen? So steel failure is not brittle failure. It is a ductile failure. Ductile failure means, so if you recall that tension force, the tension test of steel we performed, right? So there, when you pull the steel bar, it will elongate. Initially, it will elongate, and then after still you are increasing the load, then it will collapse. Okay, so there will be sufficient elongation in the steel bar. So because in a beam is made up of steel also. So if steel fails first, what will happen? The steel member gets elongated. So once steel member gets elongated, you will see the cracks in a building. There will be micro cracks. There will be cracks width will be gradually increasing. Okay, maybe at the day one you will find a small crack. Day two, because steel is failing now. At day two you will find the crack width has increased. Day three you will find the crack width is increasing gradually. Okay, so now you understood that your structure may collapse anytime. So you will evacuate the building. Okay, so that's how steel always gives sufficient warning to the those who are staying in the house that you should evacuate. The building can collapse at any time. So that's why the steel failure is always acceptable. So whenever we design a structure, we always focus that our steel should fail first, not the concrete. Concrete fails means the collapse will be immediate, whereas steel fails means the collapse won't be immediate. It will be gradual collapse. It will give you the cracks and all, and gradually the cracks width will be increasing, and later on the structure will fail. So that's why. So the neutral axis, when it is at the middle, means what? This middle case, one case means the concrete also fails, steel also fails simultaneously. Okay, that is also not desirable, but still our Indian code said okay, that also can one extent, some extent it is okay, because you will get maybe small marginal time for the evacuation, but at least you are getting some time, right, for the evacuation. That is the middle case, one case. Now case 2 means if the neutral axis is above the case 1. So case 1 it was here. Okay, case 1 it was here. Now neutral axis went up here. So went up here means what will happen is when the steel fails. So this is the steel failure, right? So when the steel fails, what about the strain at the concrete? The concrete is less than 0.0035, right? Concrete failure is here. I mean 0.0035 is here, but when the steel fails, when the neutral axis is in the case 2, means steel fails here, but corresponding to that strain in the concrete is less than the 0.0035, means concrete is not failing, but steel is failing. That is allowed in our structural design. So if neutral axis is above the case 1, okay, that is allowed, means in that case our steel is failing first, concrete is not failing. Okay, now what happens if the neutral axis is below the midpoint, below the case 1, not midpoint, below the case 1? So now neutral axis is here. What will happen if you see? So if the 0.0035, right, when the concrete fails, or if you take the steel fails, so when the steel fails, steel is here, it will fail. So what about concrete? The concrete, it is more than 0.0035. Like when the steel fails, concrete has already failed long back. So neutral axis should not be more than the case 1. Okay, so that's what we call it XU max. Okay, so depth of the nucleus is XU. XU max is when the top fiber also failing, bottom fiber also failing. That is the case one is we call it XU max. That's why this name is XU max. And XU less than XU max is allowed. So XU, whatever nucleus is depth, you will find it out. If it is less than XU max, the structure is safe. I mean, it is allowed in the IS 456 design. So now these are three cases just now I did discussed. First one is if XU is equal to XU max, means both the fibers are failing simultaneously, that column steel also as well as concrete also. Okay, that is first case. Second case is when XU is less than XU max, means XU is less than here. This case 2, this is allowed. So case 1 is allowed, case 1 is allowed, case 2 is also allowed. But case 3 is what? When XU is more than XU max, XU more than XU max. So this is in no case it is allowed. So if you get XU more than XU max, immediately you have to redesign the entire structure. Okay, so case 1, so our ideal case will be, we will consider case 2 when XU is less than the XU max. So XU max always should be higher than the XU. So that is very much important concept here we discussed. Now we'll derive few formulas from here. So now you understood, right? XU max. So this formula we have derived just in the last slide. So XU max, now XU is replaced with XU max. Okay, XU max means the top fiber also failing and bottom fiber also failing simultaneously. Same time both the fibers are failing. Okay, so that condition we'll consider and we'll derive our section. So now XU is replaced with XU max by D equal to 0.87. Just this formula last slide only we have derived the entire formula. Now similarly AST lim also will come, because area of steel also you should not use more area of steel. So it is also limiting value of area of steel is also there. Okay. So now this is the expression we derived in the last slide. Now if you find it out, the percentage of steel in a beam, percentage of steel in a beam means what? So percentage means area of steel by BD means total beam area into 100. So this will give you percentage of steel. So PT lim, percentage of tension steel lim, limit means maximum value should be. So is from this expression only you can derive this part, and this is the final expression. Okay, PT means percentage of steel should be like that. So now if you see percentage of steel varies what? FCK, what are the variables here? FCK means grade of concrete, FY grade of steel, XU max by D. Okay. Now XU max by D also can be computed. So based on this similar triangle, so we are now considering case 1, that is middle case, right? Middle case it is we are considering. So you have to, here you have two triangles. So let me draw it here. So we are considering now this triangle. Okay, so case 1. Okay, so this is the case 1. So now if you draw a triangle here like that, what will happen? So this is a triangle, right? So now uh, this both no the end this middle portion is this one, right? Yeah. So now here is how much? So total is this XU by D, right? Here two triangles are there. One is this top triangle, another is this big triangle, bottom triangle. Okay. So now both the triangles are similar triangles. So you studied in the 7-8 standard also, we can apply the theory of similar triangle. Okay. So in the theory of similar triangle, we can put it. So what is the first part? So what is this distance? So this distance is nothing but XU max, right? So XU max by D. So XU max is this much by entire length. D is total depth, right? Total depth. So XU max by D equal to what about this portion? So this by this, right? What about this one? So this one is nothing but this one, total to here. This is 0.0035. That's why 0.0035 by total length. So total length is how much? So from here to here it is 0.002 plus this, and from here to here is 0.0035. So total is how much? So 0.0035 plus 0.002 plus this one. So you will get ultimately 0.87 Fy by E plus 0.0055. How we got 55? So 0.002 plus 0.0035. So if you add it, you will get 0.0055. So from this expression, you can easily get it. What is the XU by D value? For example, you are using maybe, here it is E. So somehow it got, this is E. Okay, so now, for example, you are using FY 250 grade of steel for your design, for your design. Then Fy value is 250. So in this expression, you just substitute what is the value of Fy is 250, and compute what is Xu by D value. So once you know Xu by D value, just substitute here Xu by D value, and FCK consider it 20 MPa. So FCK value 20 MPa and Fy value we consider 250. Then you get some percentage of steel, right? Maximum percentage of steel will be this much. So from this expression, if you put all the values, you will get 1.76. I request everyone to please do it and check please verify the values. Okay, so now this is for FY 250, means F250 grade of steel you are using, and FCK, that is characteristic compressive strength of concrete, is 20. Then the maximum steel you can use is 1.76%. Now can you imagine, you have a beam of rectangular beam. So in this beam only 1.76% area you can use steel bar. You cannot use more steel, more than this value. We cannot use more than this value steel quantity. Okay, so now you understood, right? So this is the maximum. So you can imagine total area, from this area only 1.76% area you can provide steel. That is the maximum value. Now similarly, if you are using M20 grade of concrete and FY 415, means 415 grade of concrete steel, then you substitute Fy value 415, you get Xu by D value. Substitute Xu by D value here, Fy value 415, FCK value 20. Find it out what is the PT. So that PT will be here. Similarly, 500 means is this. Now different grade of concrete also you will get different grades of PT. So this table will give you. So in general, normally we use M20 or M30 grade of concrete. Okay, M25 or M30 grade of concrete, and Fe415 or 500. So in that case, hardly, I mean, only 1.5% maximum steel is allowed to give in a reinforcement in a beam. You can imagine very small quantity you are allowed to give. It is not like, if you give more steel, your structure is more safe. The concept here is this is not wrong. This is wrong actually. So you should not use more steel in a structure. Why? Because if you use more steel in a structure, then what will happen? The failure will be happening in concrete. Steel won't fail because you have given more excessive steel amount, right? So the failure will happen in a concrete, and which is violating our assumption. Now in no case concrete failure is allowed. Failure is only allowed in the steel, because steel failure gives us sufficient time to evacuate, but concrete failure is sudden failure. Okay, that's why always, steel quantity you can see is very small in the entire area. Okay, now for Xu by D value for different grades of steel concrete, now if you use Fe 250, so Xu value will be 250, E value is 2 into 10 to the power 5, anyway it is constant. So Xu by D value, if you are using 250 grade of concrete steel, then maximum is 0.53. So Xu by D value is maximum 0.53. Similarly, if you are using 415 grade of steel, then Xu by D value should be 0.48. Okay, 500 means 0.46. So these are the values we frequently use. That's why it is tabulated. So now the last part here is the computation of mu. So what is mu? Mu is the moment generated in the section. So now we understood, right? There are three cases when the xu is equal to xu max, means both the fibers are failing simultaneously, and first case is when the xu is less than xu max, means case 2 means this is the maximum value but our nucleus depth is less than xu max. So this is the first case. Second case is when both the fibers are failing simultaneously, and case 3 is when xu is more than xu max, which is not allowed. If you get this type of situation, this is not allowed and you have to redesign the entire beam. So only first two cases are allowed. So when the xu is less than xu max, so how much is xu max? That we derived, right, in the last slide also, that how much should be the maximum value of xu max. So in that case, what is the moment? How much moment will be generated? So moment is force into distance, right? So if you recall that stress diagram we have discussed, so let me draw it here. So this is our rectangular block, and then we have the stress block also, if you recall, something like that. So this is the stress block. Okay, so this is compressive force and this is tension force. Okay, so now what is total moment applied to the section? So moment will be, you know the moment generated will be force into distance. So how much is the force? Force is C into distance is this much, C to D. So C to D distance we call it lever arm, right? Lever arm. So moment mu equal to T. Why T into lever arm? Because here first case is what? XU is less than XU max, means the case 2 means XU is less than here. So in that case what will happen? The steel will fail first, right? Concrete won't fail at all, because concrete, it can fail up to 0.0035, but steel has already failed in the case 2, means first one, when XU is less than XU max. So that's why steel has already failed. So steel force or stress will take and find it out what is mu. So mu will be T into lever arm. So T is the force into lever arm. So T already we know 0.87 FYAST into lever arm. Lever arm is the C to D distance, which is D minus 0.42 D. So substitute, XU value, and from the last slide you will get this type of expression, mu. That's this one. This is the moment, resisting moment in a section. Now the case 2 is when XU is equal to XU max, means concrete also failed, steel also failed simultaneously. First case was steel failed first, concrete did not fail. That's why the moment we have computed based on T, based on steel force, because steel force still already failed, but here it is not failed. But second case is XU equal to XU max, means the top both the fibers failed simultaneously. In that case, it is advisable to use C, lever arm. C into lever arm, moment equal to C into lever arm. So C is how much? Total compressive force. Already we derived 0.36 XU, BD something will be there. We derived this expression, and D we have taken common, and this is the lever arm. So ultimately you just put what is the value of C and put what is the lever arm value. You derive it from basics, and ultimately this is the final expression you will get it. Mu lim. This is this one. And in third is it is not allowed. In any case, XU should not be XU max. Okay. Now the last slide of this lecture is the computation of limiting moment of resistance. So limiting moment of resistance we call it mu by bd square. So this is a standard expression you have to remember. Okay, this is a standard expression you have to remember. Mu by bd square is we call it moment of resistance, or resistance factor R. So R is nothing but mu by bd square. So mu lim, already in the last slide we have derived this expression. Okay, by bd square, if you simplify, you will get this is the final expression for that. Okay, so now if you substitute FCK value 20, if you use M20 and grade of steel 250, substitute the values here and you will get what is R value. So R value is given in different cases, different grade of steel, different grade of FCK. Okay, so that's how we completed the main theory part of the singly reinforced design. So in the next class onwards, we'll be solving the actual beam design, singly reinforced beam design from scratch. We'll be doing, and we'll be using all the formulas which we have derived. So we have derived the C, what is the value of total compressive force. We have derived what is the total tensile force, what is the lever arm, what is under the, then we have seen the three cases, right? So what is the three cases? I'll just repeat it here also because it is very important for you to understand. So case 1 was when XU is less than XU lim, XU max. Okay, this is case 1. So case 2 is when XU is equal to XU max. And what is case 3? Case 3 is when XU is greater than XU max. Okay, so this 2 is allowed as per Indian standard, and this is not allowed at any cost. So this section basically is what? So when XU is less than XU max, means in this case the steel fails first. Okay, the steel will fail. So in this case steel fails. So in this case both fail simultaneously. Both fails simultaneously. And third one is actually concrete fails. Concrete fails. Okay, so in third case it is not at all acceptable. As per our Indian standard, this concrete failure is not at all acceptable. So normally we prefer steel should be failed before concrete. So this 1 and 2 cases are allowed as per Indian standard. So this first part actually we call it under reinforced section. Means here the reinforcement is actually less. Okay, we provide small less quantity of reinforcement which is required because we want steel should fail first. Okay, so this type of section we call it under reinforced section, whereas this one second one actually both fails together, so this section we call it balanced section. And when you know the concrete fails, means more number of steel bar we provided but concrete fails, then we call it over reinforced section. So over reinforced section is not at all acceptable as per Indian standard. So only under reinforced section and balanced sections are desirable. But what I would recommend, whenever you design next time in future any structure, always try to design it in under reinforced, under reinforced section. You should design. So in the next class, we'll be solving couple of problems that singly reinforced design problems. So up to now, I would recommend everyone please do it all the derivations from your by your hand, and all the calculations you do it by your own hand. Okay, and verify everything is fine or not. Then only the understanding will be clear, and you can easily understand the problems also. Thank you.